Hello everyone, today's video is on squares and square roots. Okay, so we're going to be able to calculate the square numbers and square roots of particular key numbers. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at what it means by squares. Okay, obviously you all know what a square is, okay, but we're talking about square numbers here. Okay, and as you can see in the picture, here is the number 3. Okay, I've drawn it as a line. Here's the number 3, and when I square it, I mean, it does exactly what you would imagine. It makes a square with sides of 3. Okay, so this is what we might call 3 squared, and this is the notation. This is what it will look like. Okay, the little 2 up there means that I've squared it. I've turned it into a square. Okay, now whilst this number here might just be 3, the dimension just along here, the length 3. Okay, when I square something, okay, how many squares are there? How many little squares are there inside? Well, what I guess we'd call this 3 squared. The answer is, of course, there are 9. Okay, you can count them out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when I turn 3 into 3 squared, what I get is 9. Okay, and similarly, here is 5 squared. Okay, here's the number 5 along the bottom here. When I turn it into 5 squared, as in a square with 5 on each side, what am I going to get in the middle here? Good, correct. I'm getting 25. Okay, count them out: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, so 5 squared is equal to 25. And in fact, what we realize, of course, is this little squared symbol up here, the little number 2 that I'm talking about up here, that tells me that I need to multiply that number by itself. So for example, 1 squared is going to be 1 times by 1, which is, unsurprisingly, 1. Similarly, 2 squared, 2 times by 2, which is 4. 3 squared is 3 times by 3, which equals 9, and so on. Now I can't tell you literally how many students will come to me and say 3 squared is, well, what do you think the mistake is? They go 3 squared is 6, okay, because what they've done is they've done 3 times by 2. No, you do 3 multiplied by itself that many times. So if it's squared, you just multiply by itself once. Okay, so this one is not going to be 4 times 2 is 8. No, it's going to be 4 times by 4. Okay, so it's 16. And we can carry on doing this. This one's going to be 25. We've looked at this one already. 6 times 6, 36. 7 times 7, 49, and so on. 8 times 8, 9 times 9, 10 times 10, 11 times 11. Testing our mental maths here. 12 times 12, 144. 13 times 13, 169. That's tricky. And 14 times by 14. Who's got that one? Who knows what 14 times by 14 is? I can tell you. It's 190 steps. Okay. So these are what we would call square numbers. Okay. These ones that I'm highlighting now: 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. The answers here are square numbers, and what that means is that they are the result, they are the answer to me squaring something else. Okay, so if I square 12, I get 144. So 144 is a square number. So these are what we would call square numbers. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, the opposite of that is what we call square roots. Okay, and this is where, for example, I've got my number 49 here, and you'll see this little symbol here. Looks like a division sign. Sorry, it shouldn't have that little bit on the end there. It's just like this. Okay, the square root of 49, like that. Okay, the little kick up at the end here telling me it's the square root, and that just simply means if I had a square which has got 49 squares in it, 49 little ones here, what would the side lengths be? Well, you can tell me it would be 7 on each side, okay? Because 7 times 7 is 49. So all it means when it's asking for the square root is saying what number when it was squared gave me, in this case, 49. Okay, so we can look at a few more here. What number, when it was squared, it gave me 16? Well, I know the answer is 4. Now, don't put 4 squared. That's not correct. That 4 squared is 16. The square root of 16, the number which I had to square to get 16, was 4. Which number did I have to square to get to 64? Well, the answer is 8. Because 8 times by 8 is 64. Okay, so I'm looking for the number which I had to square to get this one under the symbol here. Okay, square root of 36, well, that's going to be 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. And the square root of 121, well, that one's going to be, yeah, exactly, 11. Okay, because 11 times 11 is 121. That's all the square root sign means. And finally, the last thing I want to look at, sometimes they might put these together in a question like this. They might say to you, what's 4 squared? Take away the square root of 25. Well, no problems here. Just work out each bit individually. What's 4 squared? Well, that doesn't mean 4 times 2. Nuh-uh. No way. This means 4 times by 4. So that's going to be 16. And I'm taking away, what's the square root of 25? What number did I have to square to get 25? Well, the answer is I had to take over, it's 5, sorry. It's 5 squared gives me this. So the square root of 25 is 5. 16 to take away 5. Well, that's not very hard, is it? Okay, so that's what we're looking for. They'll ask you to write out each bit of it and then work out the answer to calculation. Squares and square roots, nice and simple. Make sure you've learnt them off by heart and don't make the catastrophic error of multiplying 4 and 2 together. No way. Okay, thanks a lot. Any problems, come and see me.